When you think of a data breach, what's the first thing you picture? I bet it's some shadowy hacker in a hoodie, right? Typing away in a dark room. Well, today we're going to flip that script completely. We're going to talk about why the biggest, most damaging threat to a company's security might just be sitting in the next cubicle. All right, let's dive in.
So, let's start with a number that should really make you pause. A whopping 95% of all cybersecurity incidents can be traced back to just one thing: human error. Yeah, you heard that right. Not some super sophisticated malware, not nation-state attacks, but simple, everyday mistakes made by regular people.
And believe me, those mistakes are expensive. In 2024, the average cost for a single data breach climbed to nearly $5 million. That is a staggering price to pay for what can be just a moment of carelessness or one single bad decision.
Which brings us to the big question, doesn't it? If all our fancy firewalls and security tech aren't the only weak point, then where is the real threat coming from? Well, as we're about to see, the answer is the people. The insiders who are already inside the castle walls.
First up, let's talk about the most common type of insider threat, the accidental one. Now, these aren't villains plotting in the shadows. Nope. These are your well-meaning, hardworking employees who, through a simple mistake or some clever misdirection, end up causing massive, massive problems.
And these accidental threats, they really fall into two main buckets. On one side, you have the mistake, just a pure, unintentional slip-up. Think sending a sensitive file to the wrong email address. And on the other side, you have the misled. This is an employee who's been actively tricked by an outsider. Let's see what each of those looks like in the real world. Our first case study is a classic textbook example of a misled employee. Back in 2016, Snapchat, a company literally built on the idea of privacy, fell victim to one of the oldest and simplest tricks in the book.
So, picture this. You're in the payroll department and you get an urgent-looking email from your CEO. He needs the company's payroll information and he needs it now. You'd probably jump to get it done, right? Well, that's exactly what happened. A cybercriminal sent a perfectly disguised email, and that employee, just trying to be helpful and efficient, sent over all the data without a second thought. And the fallout? It was immediate and it was severe. The personal data of about 700 employees, we're talking social security numbers, salaries, the whole shebang, was now in the hands of a criminal. And here's the real kicker. That one single, convincing email completely bypassed all of Snapchat's expensive technical defenses. It forced them to totally rethink their whole approach to security training.
Okay, so let's move on. Our next story isn't about deception or trickery at all. This one is a perfect and pretty painful example of a simple mistake.
I mean, this is the kind of error anyone could make. An employee needed to send a spreadsheet to someone inside the company, but oops, they accidentally sent it to an external contact instead. The problem? That spreadsheet was loaded with the sensitive personal info of thousands of their colleagues. A simple typo in the address bar.
And the consequences of that one little misclick were just enormous. We're talking medical records and home addresses out in the open. It led to a massive class action lawsuit from the employees against the city. It was such a painful reminder that even without a hacker in sight, the potential for damage from basic human error is absolutely huge.
Okay, so we've covered accidents, but now we're going to pivot to something a little darker. What happens when the person inside your organization isn't just being careless, but is actively trying to cause harm? Welcome to the world of the malicious insider.
Now, these malicious insiders, they usually come in two flavors. You've got the thief, who's motivated by greed, they're stealing data to sell it, or maybe take it to a new job, and then you have the saboteur. This person is often driven by revenge, and their goal isn't profit, it's to burn the whole place down.
So let's look at a truly chilling case of sabotage. Back in 2012, an IT engineer at an energy company called Enervest found out he was about to be fired. And his reaction was, well, let's just say it was extreme. See, because he had administrator-level access to everything. He was basically holding the keys to the kingdom. So he logged in and, in an act of pure revenge, he essentially hit the digital self-destruct button. He wiped the company's critical servers, erasing years of data and configurations in an instant.
The devastation was catastrophic. The company was knocked completely offline for a full month. Some of their data was lost forever. The financial cost was immense. Now, the saboteur, he ended up in federal prison for 4 years, but the damage he caused with just a few clicks was almost irreversible.
All right, our final case study looks at a malicious insider who wasn't trying to destroy the company, but to betray its people. This is a story of how a personal grudge can explode into a massive public data leak.
So here's what went down. An internal auditor at Morrisons, a big supermarket chain in the UK, got in trouble at work. In retaliation, he took the payroll data he had legitimate access to for 100,000 of his own colleagues, and he just maliciously posted it all online for the entire world to see.
Can you even imagine the chaos? The bank details and salaries of 100,000 people just out there? This single act of betrayal caused widespread panic and dragged the company into years and years of expensive, high-profile legal battles. It is such a stark reminder of the incredible power a single, trusted employee holds.
So after hearing all of these horror stories, you're probably thinking, what can actually be done? Well, it's not hopeless. The key is to shift your thinking from just building taller technical walls to building a human firewall. Let's walk through the playbook.
It really comes down to 4 key things. 1. You have to constantly train and test your team on security awareness. 2. Enforce what's called the principle of least privilege, which just means only give people access to what they absolutely need to do their job and nothing more. 3. Monitor what's happening on your network and set up alerts for weird activity. And finally, number 4, have a rock-solid airtight plan for when employees leave the company.
And this is where it all comes together. We can connect these solutions directly to the problems we just saw. Worried about a phishing scam like the one at Snapchat? That's where continuous security training comes in. Scared of a revenge attack like at Enervest or Morrisons? That's exactly why you need strict access monitoring and controls. See? This isn't just theory. It's about applying the right lesson from each of these breaches.
Okay, so we've looked at everything. The accidents, the sabotage, the solutions. After all of that, what's the one single idea you should really walk away with?
It all boils down to this. In today's world, a zero-trust mindset isn't just a good idea, it's essential. Now, this isn't about being paranoid or not trusting your team. It's about being smart and being prepared. So trust your people, absolutely, but always, always verify, because sometimes your strongest defense is just a healthy dose of skepticism.